This morning, you got up, you walked into the bathroom, you stepped on that scale, and you didn't like the number you saw on the scale. So what did you do? You peed, you went back on the scale to see if that number was something a little bit better that you'd liked before. We're all guilty of this. Don't pretend you've never done something like that before. Or if you haven't ever done something like that, you're better than me. This episode today, so you want to lose weight. At the end of this episode, you are going to come away with a much deeper sense than you probably ever have before of whether or not you feel like maybe you're ready to start a weight loss journey, or whether the answer is no, or the answer is not yet. The reason this is important is because there are so many conflicting weight loss gizmos, diet potions, pills, magic stuff out there that promises to make you lose weight. And there's some pretty dangerous weight loss pills that have come out recently too that I'm not a big fan of, but it's just like, again, perpetuating this like skinny at all costs kind of mentality that we want to look through, cut through all that BS and get you to a place where you can say, yep or no, this is good for me. This is important. This is really important because most of us tend to stay stuck in the I should. And I know you've heard me say 100 million times, don't shit all over yourself. Please don't, because when you're saying I should, I need to, you're stuck. And so there isn't an actual decision of momentum. And so we're going to go through a whole bunch of different things you can look at. We're going to go through the concept of the week zero, all kinds of things to do before you begin. And in earnest, when we think about weight loss journey, that traditional, like I'm managing what I eat, I'm measuring on the scale and I'm seeing that scale number change. Like before we get to that, the whole bunch of other things we want to be looking at. We're also going to, let me go through my little outline here. We're going to talk a little bit about making sure you're ready. You're ready for this. My bias, my very strong bias, where I come from on this is all natural commitment to the holy grail. That holy grail, searching, I don't know, when I was a kid, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, some of my favorite movies. I think my mom won them at a grocery store, all three of them. So we had the VHS Raiders of the Lost Ark. And so because we owned it, we had it, we like watched it a million times. So I love that concept of Harrison Ford going for that holy grail. We are going for that holy grail of doing it in a way that's sustainable, that's going to last, which doing it that way is harder, but it's a lot more meaningful. It leaves you with a lot more confidence. And we're also going to have that bias that you, this is not bariatrics. This is not eating disorders. This is not disordered eating. That is outside of scope of this conversation. So if you fit into that, please listen to this cautiously and carefully, knowing that that is not specifically what I'm talking about. We're going to talk some about tracking macros and baselines, your social circle, accountability, alcohol. There's a lot in today's episode we're going to go through. Mindset. We're going to recap that all together so then you can really step back, look at the big picture for your whole life, know what's important to you, and then really make an assessment that you can have peace with of yes, now's the time, let's get started, or no. And you'll have some real confidence of why, and you won't just be stuck in that subconscious beating yourself up quite so much. If you've been listening along with this podcast too, you know I am actively today on my own weight loss journey. I am 10 weeks in. I've been doing weekly podcast report out, so you can go back in the podcast and listen to those week by week. And so I'm taking pretty much all those concepts around weight loss, things to think about if you are ready for that journey for yourself or not, that actually happened real time, real fresh for me, and talking about it as a whole summary of the 10 weeks that I've been on. And the reason I'm doing that is because we have inundated ourselves, society, with so many success stories where somebody goes into hiding, they go on a weight loss journey, and the only people we ever see are the ones that succeed. We don't see that day in, day out, week in, week out. What is the reality like? And so that's why I went really public with this. I do not recommend necessarily going super public. Going on a podcast and telling everybody what you weigh every single week and how it's going. Don't necessarily recommend it, but I know that we're sorely lacking in that kind of transparency. I find myself asking the question of how can we pull some of the shame out of all this conversation around weight loss? How can we make it an easier conversation? And I think a lot of it is exposure therapy and not being so afraid of talking about the details and the hard parts. And me, as somebody who is a weight loss management specialist, me talking about my own journey and not coming to you and just pretending it's all shiny and fancy. And like, here, do this, only, eat your quinoa special dairy-free, gluten-free, steaming hot cup of nothing, and you'll be happy and glowing and wonderful. You might feel like shit for a few days, but then you'll come out and you'll be feeling fabulous. Like, blah. It makes me gag a little bit, just even like, oh, I've seen too much of that. So, okay. Here we go. Concept number 1. There is a whole host of things that get in our way of a weight loss journey. And I lump all of these into what I call my week 0. So you've heard me talk about week 0 a lot of times. And that week 0, it could be a week. For me, my week 0 was 3 years. And in that week 0, you're answering the question, what are all the barriers that are getting in my way? What are the things that are going to sabotage me? What's going to make it hard for me to be successful? Are there things I need to take care of before I can earnestly go into a traditional, here we go, we are gaining strength, we're doing good nutrition, and we're going to see the scale go down, but we're not going to lose muscle mass in the process. Yeah, before we can really earnestly run for that holy grail. You do not have to solve all of these things in order to begin losing weight, but every single one helps. And individuals who get their lives to a place where they have all these things solved, that's when the weight loss becomes so much easier. And that's when people come on and say, oh, you just have to make a couple of small changes every week and just a couple little changes. It's easy. That's because they have all the week 0 things taken care of. So these are things like your overall health. What kind of medications are you on? There are medications that legit fuck with your insulin and make weight gain or losses really hard, darn near impossible. And there are a lot of amazing medications that are keeping people alive physically, keeping people alive mentally. And it abso-freaking-lutely is the right thing to not mess with the doctor's prescriptions unless they are honestly, earnestly, candidly working with their doctors on this. For me, this was my fibromyalgia medication that I was given. So I was given a fibromyalgia medication that in some people caused weight gain and in some people caused weight loss. In me, it seemed to cause weight gain, and that just sucked. So that was one of the pieces that I had to work through, and it took me a good year. And I was thankfully able to, with a whole year of just really dialing in what I ate, sleep, just as much as I could. I was able to slowly wean myself off of it, but it took me about 6 months to wean myself off this crud. It was tough. It was tough. So for you too, maybe, there's meds you're on or that you need to stay on. And so that's something to hang on to and be thinking about. Okay. There's also other things. If you have chronic illnesses, going into a calorie deficit is not necessarily the right thing for you. That was a big thing for me too. I went through a couple of years where I used more grit and self-discipline than ever around food. And the scale still kept going up and up and up. In fact, now that I'm on my weight loss journey, I'm almost at the 20-pound mark. Woohoo! This losing 20 pounds has been a whole lot easier than just trying to maintain the weight, mentally, physically, hunger, just pure how hungry I feel. So all kinds of things. You got to think about yourself and what's going on there too. Stress management, sleep management. Yeah, all those. Then, but wait, there's more. We're just getting started. Sugar. If you try to go right into a calorie deficit, but you've got a decent amount of sugar in your diet, and there is a lot of hidden sugar out there, folks, like these little demons hiding everywhere. If you've got a lot of sugar in your diet, that is going to make managing your hunger really, really hard, really difficult. So I spent a long time slowly working the sugar out of my diet before when I say a long time, like a year or maybe even 2, really getting the sugar lower and lower in my diet so that my hormones had one more chance of balancing in my body, so that I would have less cravings and make this more doable. Technically on paper, can you eat a crap diet and then restrict your calories and continue to eat sugar? Can you do that and lose weight? Yes, but this is not the holy grail, right? We're going for that healthy, feeling more calm, more centered, and that is not a way to do it. So there's another week 0 thing. Alcohol. Oh, our favorite topic. If you're drinking every single day of the week, you're going to have a heck of a time losing weight. If you're drinking every single day of the week, you are most definitely drinking more than 1 glass of wine a day. I don't know anybody. Who actually only drinks 1 glass of wine. I know a lot of people who say they do. Yeah. We know who we are. So I had to slowly work on getting alcohol out. And part of that was the safe kitchen. And so part of what happened for me was I moved. There was less people in our house. I was able to control what was in the kitchen more. So having that alcohol out, and that's a whole nother topic. Happy to work one-on-one with anybody on that. If that's one for you and you want to figure out more about like, what is this whole alcohol thing and why does it make it so difficult to lose weight? Safe kitchen. And you can't just remove the crap out of your kitchen. You got to replace it with things that you actually like to eat. And that takes months for most people, or years, to slowly get food in your kitchen that you actually enjoy, that is high nutritional density, that is something where you go into your kitchen and your refrigerator is not just full of sadness. So you can't just one day go in, clean out all the sugar, clean out all the crap, replace it with healthy food, and expect that to work, because it takes time for the body to adjust. It takes time for the mind to adjust. It takes time for the habits to adjust. And I love, oh my gosh, this quote I'm going to start using everywhere. The quote is, your habits is your body being the brain, right? So you do something so many times that your body just naturally goes for something, grabs for something out of habit. And so your body becomes your brain. I love that quote. And so it takes time for this to happen. Okay, we're just getting started. I got to keep going through all of this. Okay, so then I also had a really incredible I've had a lot of incredibly stressful years in my life. Maybe you have too. In fact, the more I talk to people, we all do. We all have incredibly stressful years, decades, days. And anybody who says they're fine, they're just not in tune with themselves. They're just lying to themselves, because that's how they know how to cope. And so that was a piece I had to work through too, is I had some things in my life I really need to work through. And if you've been listening to all 500 podcasts, you got a good sense of that. So think about yourself. If you've got anxiety, if you've got depression, I had some things in my life that caused some profound sadness. And that is not the time to go into a calorie deficit. Yeah. So it's tough. And then the next piece I needed to do is I needed to do some work. And anybody going into a weight loss journey, there's work to be done to really understand why you're doing this. Because if you go into it just looking at that number on the scale and using that as your indicator, there are so many ways to get that number on the scale to go down fast in a way that is not healthy. And this is where some of those weight loss diet pills that get popular, and they spike and they go away, and they spike and they go away. And there's a new one out now. I won't even say the name of it because I don't want anybody to even think about using it unless you're, bariatrics, working with a physician, and like that's a whole different thing. Or you've got, But for a person who really wants to just get stronger and get healthier and wants to see the scale go down, they're finding that this one particular diet pill that's out now that is FDA approved, that what ends up happening is it looks like you lose more muscle than fat on this. So what ends up happening is the number on the scale goes down, but proportionately, you actually have percentage-wise quite a bit more fat on your body than you had before percentage-wise. And that is not a good thing. That is not what you want there. So the reason I wanted to go through all of these things, and there's more, is because doing a healthy weight loss journey, it's not all shiny. It's not all simple. It's not a just do it. It's not a just make a simple change and your life will be fabulous. And a lot of times we go into that thinking it will or it should. And then you end up crashing and burning and thinking, what is wrong with me? And then the whole shame, fat, ugly, sick mental health cycle starts rearing its ugly head. And we don't need to do that to ourselves if we do all this other work first. And all this other work first doesn't change the number on the scale. Not really, but it's super, super important. So if you've gotten through all of that and you think, yep, check, I've got enough of those things, I think my answer is maybe still a yes. I want you to then think about doing this in a way that's committing to that holy grail of getting yourself to a spot where you're aging well, you're strengthening your bones, you're strengthening your muscles, you have better balance, you can squat, you can do weights, all those kind of things. You want to be able to really think about what that is for you, what it looks like. And I got to tell you, if you're listening to this thinking, it's too late for me, I'm too old, I'm too injured, I've got all these things, I never stayed active. Trust me, I work every day with all my clients. I'm the young one. Okay, not entirely. I've got clients younger than me. It's not too late for you, but you really want to commit to what does that look like for you. And for me, I see folks who are 20, 25 years older than me who have just as much or more energy than me, and that's inspiring. I see my mind saying, I want my body to be able to do as much as it can for as long as it can so that I can love my life as much as possible. And that is really motivating for me. So maybe that's not you. Maybe it's something else. And really get honest to knowing that why. I'm going to shift focus a little bit now into the first 10 weeks of my weight loss journey and a little more tactically about what has been helpful to actually make this happen for me once I got past that week 0. So as you know, I'm 10 weeks in. I'm almost at the 20-pound mark. Not quite yet. Might have been if I didn't do a vacation with my son recently, but I'm doing that vacation with him. Are you kidding me? That's all. The whole point is living my life. I had pizza 4 times that week. Yes. So yeah, it's gotta fit in your life. Okay, so here's a couple things that really help me. Tracking and counting, understanding what macros are, how to track them, how to count them. That has been huge because that was a way I could really baseline and build a solid foundation of what is it that are my safe meals that I love, that I enjoy, that I can always go back to and have the confidence that this thing is going to work for me. Another thing, social circle. I had to get radically open and honest about my journey with as many people as I could. So then my friends could support me, and I had to be okay with people who weren't comfortable with this topic and knowing, okay, these friends are not comfortable with this topic. That's okay. They kind of, they gave that whole clear, let's change the topic. And then I had other friends who were super, super supportive. So that social circle was really, really important. But with that social circle, I had to own my journey. I had to take full responsibility for my happiness because I can't expect my social circle to necessarily support me. I can't expect my social circle to take responsibility for what I'm trying to do myself. And when you change yourself, it kind of freaks out people around you a little bit because they don't recognize you. They don't recognize what's going on. And they're not sure, what does that mean for them? Like, are you now judging them because you're living a healthier lifestyle? You're doing this, but they aren't doing this. And so then they compare themselves to where I am right now. They see like, oh, wow, Lyn's down almost 20 pounds. Oh gosh, I still haven't lost any weight. Oh, I suck. It's like, no. Because they don't realize I spent 3 years in my week 0 before I ever got to the beginning of the journey at all. And those kind of conversations just don't happen in a tweet. So I just really, really did the best I can, albeit a little clunky, to make this in a social setting a no big deal thing. Yep. With that, accountability. Yeah. Accountability is huge. And you got to think through, what's your accountability going to be? What's your support structure? And I got to tell you, this podcast, highly motivating. I'll just put the elephant on the room, on the table. When you are podcasting, I'm not saying you should do this, but podcasting to the world saying, this week I weighed, 176 or whatever it was. And then the next week I weighed 175. And the next week I weighed 172. And putting it public out on a podcast, that level of accountability is huge and highly motivating. And yes, me sitting here in front of the microphone, knowing I have that level of accountability, knowing I don't know who's listening. And if you are listening, please let me know. Please be like, I'm listening. I hear you. Because it is a little weird. You don't know who's listening in your real world. So anyhow, accountability is huge. So you got to figure out what your accountability is. For me, alcohol was huge. Yep. Alcohol was a big, huge piece. Moving into a home that doesn't have alcohol in it, well, by my choice, because it's my apartment and I'm the only one who lives here now, that has been hugely supportive. Having a young adult, teenager in the house, that was highly motivating because I was super motivated to show them sober fun. So And after about, I would say almost a year of drinking very, very little alcohol, I have gotten myself to a spot where I don't even really think about it that much, which is really, really cool. Okay. Mindset. I had to be proud of what I'm doing. I had to let go of social pressure to hide what I'm doing, and out of fear of a body positive movement, militants coming after me. And I realized, no, this is good. This is healthy. I need to own it. I need to not hide. I need to humbly share my goal, and I need to be okay with the fact that this is a twitchy topic and not get all twitchy myself about it and just really own it. So mindset for me, I had to figure out what was important to me. And of the mindset pieces, the most important mindset piece for me was to also focus on loving the people in my life that are here with me in real life, and really appreciating and having great appreciation and love for my friends and deepening those relationships. That has nothing to do with food, but for me, it seems to have everything to do with getting myself into a space where I feel like I can manage this. So yeah, there's a whole lot there that we talked about. What I want you to do right now is to take a moment and think for yourself, right? Are you at a week 0 where you're still working on it? Are you, and we're going to get you to thinking about, are you a yes or no on, is weight loss the right thing for you now, never, or in the future? So maybe right now you're working on that week 0. You're trying to get your overall health in order. You've got some other health issues, stress management, sleep, getting the sugar out, getting the alcohol out, making it kitchen safe, all kinds of things, finding healthy foods you like. I mean, that takes time, changing your palate, letting your hormones settle out of eating the crap food to eating the good food, like all that kind of stuff. Maybe that's where you're going before you go for the scale. Maybe you need to really get in touch with your why. Why are you going to do this? Maybe you need to learn about what even macros are and how to track your macros and how to track for your baselines and know how much to eat and all that. Like maybe you need to work on your social circle. Maybe you need to make some big changes in your life. And that was part of me. Really, really big changes in my life helped make it more supportive so that I could do this. Maybe you need to work on accountability. Maybe your first thing is you need to tackle alcohol. Yeah. Or mindset. So that's what we went through. The reason this is so important is because so much of the time when we look at losing weight or a weight loss journey, culturally, we are told you need to use grit. You can eat anything you want. You can use some magical potion pill or powder, all kinds of crazy crap stuff. And it fails because it doesn't support you living a life you love. It's super important. Part of the reason looking at this is super important too is because we need to get out of that space of thinking, every day, I should lose weight. Like, how do I do that? I should. Oh, it's a birthday. I should lose. Oh, it's an anniversary. I should lose weight. Oh, I'm on vacation. I should lose. Like, that is a disaster recipe for failure. That's going to do nothing but fill you with shame, add stress, and make you not have a happier, healthier life. And maybe, just maybe, and you can do this because it's your life. Maybe you make the decision and radically own the fact that you are not going to go on a weight loss journey, even though you know you have weight to lose. And you choose that and you say, nope, I am going to pick my own life, my own values. And that is totally your choice. That is absolutely your choice. This is your life on your earth, and you can do that. So that's why that's really important. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to pause for a moment. Get in touch with what's going on inside of you, that intuition, you probably already immediately know what the right decision is for you. If you are feeling like the right decision is no, I'm not going to do this now. I'm not going to do this today. Then you've got some really hard work to do, almost harder than if the answer is yes. You need to either start working on your week 0 stuff, or you've got something going on in your life where you need to make peace with the fact that this is not right for you today. And that is a hard thing to do. I am not here to judge anybody who says, Lynn, I've got health issues. I've got these meds. I've got these, it seems like right now, the idea of a weight loss journey is not the right thing for me. Absolutely. And you got to remember, we're not talking bariatrics. We're not talking eating disorders. Okay. Just got to call that out again. But showing yourself compassion and getting yourself to a place where you're loving your life more, that's what we want to do. And it can't be defined by what culture tells you to do. It can't be defined by what I tell you to do. It definitely freaking motherfucker can't be by what Instagram and social media tells you what to do, okay? You got to put all that aside and do what's right for you. If your answer is yes, now is the time. I've been thinking about this, and I think now really is the time to either begin my weight loss journey or really in earnest start tackling those week 0 items. Then let's get started. Let's get started and get you on this journey for yourself too. Regardless of whether your answer is yes, no, or I'm confused, I need help figuring this out, it would be my honor to help you with this journey because the struggle is real. The journey is real. It's more complicated than social media makes it out to be, but there is a path. You can do this. You can get yourself to a place where you're loving life more. You're meeting the goals you want to do. And I can help you get there. So it's couch2active.com, couchtoactive, couch2active.com. Check it out. My email, phone number's there too. Reach out to me. It would be super exciting to get you out of the should and into a yes, no, or help me figure it out. That's a better place to live. All right. See you over there, couch2active.com.